Suddenly half of the student body is smoking Smarties. Ask Reddit on Reddit Rundown. What was the black market at your school? In high school there was this game/fad where people would try to stealth zip tie other people's bags to their desks, shoes together, whatever, so they'd be stuck when the bell rang. One guy sold the heavy-duty zip ties and another sold mini scissors for easy escape. I was a substitute teacher at a charter school. The kids and the teachers liked me, so they kept bringing me back. I noticed there was a kid who brought a huge duffel bag every class, but he was also in sports, so I didn't really think anything of it. One day, he shows up with a can of the drink I had every day when he noticed I hadn't brought one. The kid was running a snack business out of his locker and the duffel bag was packed with snacks and soda. Most teachers usually shut it down in their room, but he didn't disrupt the class while I was there, and he had the monster flavor I liked. He was the current student selling and had inherited the business from a recently graduated senior. The school had tried to shut him down at least once. The kids noticed I didn't say anything, so they paid more attention in class, knowing I'd give them a minute or two at the end to get a snack. In elementary school my friend had a sticker maker, and we pumped out hundreds of stickers with Neopets on them. Everyone wanted them. We were making away like bandits before teachers started to get pissed because they were showing up all over the desks, walls, etc. Eventually we got called into the principal's office and had to stop. Air potatoes. For those unaware, air potatoes are an invasive species of vines that grow to cover massive swathes of forest areas in Florida, and usually result in the death of everything they grow on, as they suck the nutrients out of the surrounding flora. There was a gigantic infestation of these vines around my school, and they bore small, roughly golf ball-sized potatoes, which were very poisonous if eaten, perfect-sized fruits for pelting your enemies on the playground. Obviously, 5th graders being in possession of weaponized poisonous potatoes was frowned upon, so you had to be careful not to get caught picking them. Eventually the whole school was covered in bruises and welts from the Great War of 2003 to 2005. Finally, they built a fence around the playground and a ceasefire had to be declared as all remaining ammunition began to rot. Beating kids up. In grade 8, so 13 years old, there were a few hit men. Huge bully type kids that would beat up anyone you wanted. Price started at $20. Within a few weeks it was up to $50. The hit men were all independent, so you could pay one to beat up another. Lasted about 3 months when everyone came to school looking like hell. Fun fact, I missed getting beat up because the guy hired was too busy, so he kept the money and told me to tell everyone I was beat up. Win-win. There were like 6 schools within a 1-mile radius of my house, and my parents were interested in trying each one for about a year it seems. Each had its different economy, which was really cool thinking back. Early grades, POGs. All the rage, and this one kid could source them for you. He stole them. He stole them from bags when people were at recess. Everybody used him, and he stole from everybody, so it was kind of an interesting market as slowly our children brains realized he was just shuffling POGs amongst everybody with no gain for him whatsoever, except the sheer thrill of sowing chaos. Mid-grades, 3 to 5, it became marbles. Band caused kids playing in halls with them, leaving them in halls, teachers slip, etc. We had to find nooks and crannies to play in. There was a guy who liked to go places he wasn't supposed to, so once your spot was found by teachers, you'd consult him and he'd guide you to some obscure area on the premises for like some cheese strings. If you were super hardcore and had Dunkaroos, he'd take you off premises. Crazy Bones came in at the tail end, but teachers didn't seem to care about those. Post-grade 5, Tamagotchis, and later, Pokemon. No child read instruction manuals, so nobody knew how to turn off the sound the Tamagotchis made, main thing that got you busted in class, except apparently this one kid. He'd mute it for you for the right price. Pokemon, I actually ran a business. During recess I'd level your Pokemon for you while you did whatever it was you wanted to do in those precious 15 to 30-minute breaks. I got paid in experience because I was too poor and didn't own a Game Boy lol. After that it was grade 7 plus, and the black market was drugs, cigarettes, and booze, so pretty much your standard substance market that exists for adults too. Soft drinks became black market in my final year, as the health department had passed guidelines about selling them in schools. One of the teachers initially was selling them from his office but got shut down pretty quickly. So, I decided to take it up. I'd get up early and drive past the supermarket on the way in and grab a 30-pack of Coke, Fanta, Sprite etc. Then I'd sell them from my car at lunch breaks. That got shut down too, so I shifted my approach. Ended up coming in early to school and dropping the cans off in various empty lockers around the school and padlocking them shut. Then at lunch I'd walk around with a bunch in my pockets and sell them, stocking up at the drop points as I continued my walk. Didn't really try to make money off it, it was a bit more of an FU to the man. I am a teacher. We had two spawned by COVID. The first was toward the beginning of the outbreak. The school had a policy that if you have 2 symptoms of COVID, you go home. So if a kid had a headache and wanted Tylenol, that's one. But we live in an area with really bad allergies, and almost everyone has a runny nose and or a sore throat in the fall. So that's 2. Teachers pretty quickly turned a blind eye to bottles of ibuprofen being passed around by students to avoid going home. When we had a mask mandate, the office got tired of giving out masks to kids who broke or forgot them, so they started charging $5 to parents' accounts per mask. Fairly rich private school, so this wouldn't cause a hardship for anyone. A kid's parents got annoyed about spending $5 a day, so they sent him to school with a box of masks to put in his backpack. One of his classmates forgot her mask and I told her, well, you can go to the office and get one for $5 or, student, might sell you one for $3. And so, the black market for masks was born. I heard later that a different teacher sent him to the office for it. So I checked in with my boss to make sure he didn't get in trouble. My boss laughed and said it was brilliant, then told me at his previous school there was a kid who rented out belts and ties to kids who forgot them to avoid dress code violations. Paper Hornets. You'd load one up with a rubber band on the inner edge and launch the little bastard at other people. Could often leave a small bruise wherever it hit. Thing was, some people were good at making them, and some people were shit at making them. So, the people who were bad at it would buy them off people who were good at it. I was very good at it, creating ones that would hit hard as fuck but fly like a dream. I routinely would get dimes for the simpler ones. But the crazier ones I'd sell for $0.25. I've posted this before, but it fits perfectly here. They got rid of the soda machines at my high school, which caused the students to get really pissed. A buddy of mine bought a bunch of 12 packs of store-brand sodas for $3 each and a huge cooler. He showed up the very next day after they removed the machines and charged $1 per soda. The demand was insane and he sold out each day right when lunch started. The staff got pissed and stopped allowing him to bring the cooler. So instead, he brought a huge gym bag that he claimed he needed for PE class and filled it with sodas. He couldn't keep up with the demand, so he cut another guy in and had him carry a gym bag too. Years after he graduated, his sister attended the same high school and someone asked her if her brother was the soda guy. He had become a legend just that fast lol. I sold beer. Only person that knew it was me was the guy that took orders. He got the orders by Wednesday and I bought it after school in another town and delivered it to him that night. I was using my brother's birth certificate. It worked for about 3 months and then every place I went turned me down one night. We both decided that it was a good run and time to quit. Smarties, after the administration banned them. One of my classmates found out that crushing up Smarties into powder, dumping it all into his mouth, and blowing it looked like smoke. Suddenly half of the student body is smoking Smarties. The administration freaked out trying to control the situation, attempted to prevent over 900 middle schoolers from possessing Smarties. Letters were sent to parents. Local news stations were interviewing people in the parking lot. It was asinine to say the least. One classic entrepreneurial type started buying bulk Smarties by the pound and selling them for $1 a piece during lunch. Did so for about a month. He made over $1,000, and was eventually suspended. When I was in middle school, we used to have this thing called punish work. It was basically this sheet of paper that was probably like 8 paragraphs long, basically saying in a fancy way that you broke the rules and are being punished for it. You even had to get your parents to sign it. And at the end it said, was it worth it? If you did something that wasn't like suspension worthy, you'd get issued punish work. You would basically have to write that entire sheet word for word top to bottom. Depending on what you did, you'd get issues 1 sheet, sometimes 2. I've had 3 and 4 before. Doing the punish work really wasn't that horrible. But who wants to sit here and write that whole thing? Nobody. So, some of us started offering to write people's punish work for them for money. Sometimes snacks at recess or a pack of cookies at lunch. I'd charge $2 a sheet. If you didn't have $2, I wanted a snack at recess. Or like I said, a pack of cookies at lunch. There was at one point, when I had people specifically come to me to write their punish work for them because they knew I was good for it. So sometimes I'd just randomly write a sheet out in my spare time to get ready for the next deal. My stepbrother at the time too, he started forging people's parents' signatures for them because he was good at cursive writing. So that was another aspect of the black market punish work hustle. In 5th grade, I smarted off to a cop at school. And my asshole teacher made me stay inside for recess every day for like 2 weeks and write punish work instead. At the end of those 2 weeks, I stole all my punish work sheets I'd written, and I started selling them to classmates. By the time I was in 8th grade, I had that sheet basically memorized. And at the end of the sheet, how it said, "Was it worth it?" One time I got it for something stupid as hell. So, I wrote below it, "Yes, it was worth it, bruh," and I got issued more sheets, lol. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.